Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We provide fan-oriented and analytic discussion on a variety of animated shows, movies, and anime, currently featuring Steven Universe, Miraculous Ladybug, the new Powerpuff Girls, Star vs. the Forces of Evil, and more. I'm Justin Cummings, and today I'm joined by Michelle Anderer.
Hey guys.
Today, Michelle and I are having a movie discussion. I believe this officially marks the beginning of what we're hoping will be a weekly movie discussion series. Correct, Michelle?
I have no idea. It's the first time hearing about it, yeah.
Well, Dylan's been saying we should do weekly movies, and I'm like, okay, eventually, and now we're starting, so our souls are bound to this now, Michelle.
Oh, well, that's news to me.
It is.
I'd be fine with that, though.
You are? You're fine with that?
Yeah, I'd be fine with that.
Yeah, I like our discussions. I've taken to calling us the OVA-iginals. Because we're like the original OVA cast, because everyone else is from the spirit world.
Oh my god.
It's weird to say, but when you spell it out like capital OVA and then...
That's like equal parts cute and awful.
Like, I like it. Like, there will be fan art now.
No!
Of the OVA originals.
Oh,
it'll
man.
be great. But you can find this podcast, any other movie podcast we end up doing. We might need a movie feed at some point. That'd be neat. You can find all our podcasts at overlyanimated.com or by searching Overly Animated on iTunes or your favorite podcatcher. I think we're on Google Play, Google Music, I think, and Stitcher. We're on all kinds of places. Just look for us. For sure. Search. Find us. Hunt us down. Today, Michelle and I are talking about a 2006 anime movie. You may have heard of it. It's called The Girl Who Leapt Through Time.
Mm-hmm.
Of course you've heard of it. It's the title of this podcast. I am not smart today. I am very tired. But we're going to talk about this movie because it's a really good movie.
It's a really good movie.
I've been waiting a long time to talk about this movie.
Have you? This is the first I've heard about you showing interest.
I love this movie so much.
I do too, honestly.
I've seen it 3 times. I've
seen it twice. Yeah, this is my second time since the first time, which was back in high school.
So good.
It's so good.
So, brief synopsis, in case you haven't seen the movie or in case you just want like a brief refresher. It's about a high school girl who finds a device. The device then lets her travel through time by time leaping. She literally just leaps into the sky and boom, time travel.
It's the best way to time travel. Just like running as fast as possible.
She goes backwards in time. She goes forwards back to events she's already been to. It's all crazy. It's fun. It's great. And it's this girl.
Until it isn't, though.
Until it's girl. It's coming of age story, but sci-fi. It's like every fantasy anime coming of age girl story you've seen, but science fiction. And it's amazing. And honestly, it is just, that's the best I can explain the plot. It's science fiction coming of age.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
All right, so overall, what are your thoughts on the movie, Michelle?
I really love this movie. I think the first time I was watching it, I remembered being like super invested in, like Makoto and like, oh Jesus Christ, Chiaki.
Chiaki and
yeah.
What's the other guy's name? It's
Kosuke?
Chiaki. Kosuke. That's it. Kosuke, Chiaki.
Awesome. Yeah.
Kosuke is awesome.
But like, I was so swept away by like the whole arc with Makoto and Chiaki and like how it culminates in like whenever Makoto would like ugly cry, I would ugly cry. Like it was just so like it ripped my heart out. It was so good. And this time it was way easier to pay attention to like all the little details, I think, because like I already knew. And like I could appreciate just like the very like nice progressional pacing and how well they set up a lot of the things that they tie back to later, and like appreciate more of the smaller moments, which I really like didn't have time for the first time I saw it. I was just so swept away by everything. So I really liked it.
I've talked about this a bit on the we did a top 10 animated movies podcast
a
little bit ago. I talked about this. It ranked number 7 on my all-time list of animated films. It was the only anime movie to make the list, surprisingly. I almost put Ghost in the Shell, but this made it. I really enjoy this film, and I think part of the reason I enjoy it is I'm a stickler about Deus Ex Machinas. I want the plot to work. I want the plot to make sense.
It should. A good story should have a good plot. It doesn't need
movie,
like
several times. First off, spoilers for this movie if you haven't seen it.
Spoilers
be here. This is a spoiler-filled movie cast. If you don't want spoilers, the movie's great. Go watch it. That's all I have to say. If you're ready for spoilers, here we go. When Kosuke is about to get hit, I'm crying for a Deus Ex Machina. When Chiaki's gone, I'm crying for Deus Ex Machina. Like 3 times, I'm like broken down. I'm like, please, anything, something. And then things get better, and no Deus Ex Machinas. Everything makes sense.
Yeah, they made it work.
Like, this movie managed to have a cohesive plot that makes sense without a lot of plot holes, while still making me so invested that I wouldn't care even if it didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And that's very, very rare.
Maybe part of that's because it was based on a book, and usually books are a lot better about that kind of thing.
Here's the thing. No, it's not. It's not based on a book. It's a sequel to a book.
Wait, what?
The book.
I thought it was based on a book.
No. The book, The Girl Who Leapt Through Time, is from 1967,
Okay.
and I need to go back and read it because I think it would give good backstory. That's about a different teenage girl who gets time travel powers. Her anti-witch.
That she really did have time travel. I thought she was just crazy chill for some reason. Whenever she came with a problem, that makes so much more sense.
And so
I was
this
like,
movie
what the
is
hell,
a loose
man?
sequel about that girl's niece.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, I love the kind of. It's kind of a sequel. It's not really. It's kind of a spiritual successor. Same name, remake. It's a weird fit because you don't need to read the book. Neither of us have read the book. I want to read the book. It is in English officially now, like legally available in English.
Let's find like an illegal ebook online.
There's a legal copy now. We can pay for it like normal adults. It's fine.
Like
we can adult for this.
Oh, sigh.
Yes, I'm the voice of reason and the law on this podcast. The book's from 1967. It just got It just got translated into English in 2011. Officially.
Okay, yeah, that was not that long ago.
So yeah, it took a long time for this book to come out. The movie came out in English before the book, which is ironic, because there was like a 40-year time gap.
Well, maybe the movie was just like so much more popular. People were like demanding the book when really they'd never heard of it before. That could have been the case.
Oh, I think it was finally they were like, well, this book's been here a while. It's finally
this book's just been lying here in Japanese. Why don't we just translate it?
It's like, I'm sure someone's already done it online. We might as well do a real copy. What's weird about this movie is, it's definitely like, I'd say this is probably like, what, PG-13?
Really? You think so?
Would you call it R? I wouldn't.
Well, no, absolutely not R. Maybe it is PG, because like people do technically die, I guess.
The sexual content, like the innuendos. I'd say
I don't know.
The language, I think, is just enough.
To be PG-13?
Yeah, I'd call it PG. I think in America it'd be released PG-13.
Definitely not R. There's no way.
No. Well, I was curious which direction you were thinking. But, I mean, I could see it PG. I would consider it PG-13.
I guess because of the death stuff, maybe it could be. But you don't, like, see
the scene where...
See,
I've always called her Makoto just because of the English dub. The scene where she's, like, on the ground, all scratched up.
That was really upsetting.
That's hard to watch.
It was like, dang, she did, like, fall a long way down that. Ugh, yeah.
Like, that scene and some of the innuendos and stuff, I think today would get a PG-13 rating. That's just me. That's actually an interesting question. I mean, it's released in English, so there is a... You know what? IMDb's going to help us out. Yeah,
let's find out what the rating is. This seems really important all of a sudden.
This is now, because it's an interesting question, because most of these kind of... It's weird, because coming-of-age stories, like, now we think of, like, teen novels and stuff.
Yeah.
But this fits more like the kind of fairy tale coming-of-age, but it has... like that kind of modern setting. It's a weird... Yeah,
it's blend. Like super slice of life, but it's also like super sci-fi in a sense. So right. I think it bridges it bridges those two things really, really well, because it never doesn't... It feels like such a high school, movie, but it's also like time travel.
Yeah, it feels like the best way I can describe it is a sci-fi Ghibli movie.
In a way, yeah. Though I think like it's definitely not like Ghibli in a lot of ways. Like tonally, I think it's very much like more of like particular to this director. But like I know what you mean. Like the world's just as like interesting and realistic.
If you like Ghibli movies, you're gonna like this.
Yeah, I agree.
Hey, guess what? IMDb says not rated.
Not rated?
So apparently, it just didn't get a rating in
That's interesting.
America at all.
Well, then I would say maybe PG-13. Definitely PG.
PG something.
We just were to rate it, yeah.
Girl Who Leapt Through Time age rating. Okay, come on. Somebody help me out with this. Okay. Apparently, Common Sense Media is saying it is rated PG-13.
Okay.
I'm going to go with that.
Yeah, let's just go with that.
Yeah. All right. Sounds fun. So, PG-13, which... It's weird because most of the time you get like a PG-13 coming of age story, it's because like the girl loses her virginity or something. Like there's no in between. It's either like 9-year-old coming of age story or like 16, 17 coming of age story. It's rare we kind of get this, I don't want to say normal, but this kind of more mature but not that way. It's like a weird genre. I'm trying to figure out how to describe it. You know what I mean?
I'm not sure I know what you mean, actually.
It's like, okay.
Going.
It goes from, like, Ghibli coming of age to, like, Beverly Cleary coming of age.
Oh. I mean, she's coming of age in a way that I feel like... no, that's not true. I was gonna say kind of like, because when you've seen Spirited Away, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like, it's how Chihiro kind of like, she matures so much on a personal level throughout the movie. And I feel like in a lot of ways, Makoto also like just matures a lot in a way over the movie. But I think that's mostly also in terms of like her learning to be more responsible and realizing that like her time travel has serious consequences and like how she feels about her friends and like that kind of stuff. And like how she's going to plan for the future. Right. But like, I don't think in terms of like a particularly like, I don't know. I mean, like, it is a maturity thing, but like, I don't think it's something. Her progression isn't something that necessarily warrants like a higher like parental guidance rating, if that makes sense.
Right. It's like it feels like this kind of missing. What is it? We talk a lot about being accurate to the age, and I feel like this is more relatable for more people this age, even though it's sci-fi, Yeah,
I agree. Like, all these characters feel like they're high school, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they feel like high school characters, especially like Makoto and Chiaki. I feel like Kosuke is a little like, he's like pretty mature, like honestly. And he looks like very mature, like physically.
Yeah, but having like a mature person in a friend group is not that rare.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a nice dynamic too to balance out. But like Matona's like such a kid, but like, yeah, super believable.
Yeah. So, the interesting thing, or what I thought was interesting, this was actually made by Madhouse, which is not typically known for their female-driven coming-of-age stories.
What are they known for?
Well, I mean, they've made a lot of anime. Just some ones you've probably heard of off the top of your head. Death Note.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like, that's one of their really big ones. Okay, I guess Card Captor, Sakura would count.
Oh, yeah, that would count.
But it's like, you think of stuff like Hunter x Hunter and Ace of the Diamond and One Outs and the Marvel stuff and all these things, and then it's like
this.
Yeah, it's like they have a few, but it's definitely not it's not what I think of when I think of Madhouse, and most people don't.
That's really interesting.
It's like more people think of like Death Note definitely, and then I guess No Game No Life would count. So there's more than I thought there were, but still, I think Death Note. So I was shocked.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, if you look at a movie and it says Ghibli, you're like, okay, I believe that's
you kind of know what,
Madhouse, you don't know what you're going to get. Because you get Death Note, which is like, crazy sophisticated, and like, what's going on? Then you get this movie and you're like, the feelings. Mm-hmm. How many times did you cry at this movie the first time?
The first time? At least 3.
Same.
Maybe 5. Like I said, like anytime Makoto was ugly crying, I was also ugly crying. You just like couldn't help it. And like when she's like running at the end, it's just like, run, Makoto, you can still make it. You can,
like the slow run that picks up.
Yes, and she like falls behind, and then she like pushes herself back up, and she like runs out of frame. It's just like it's so powerful, even after all this time, and like the music is swelling.
Oh, the
and
soundtrack
it's just, like,
in this movie.
You're so into it. I was still so into it. I knew it was going to happen. They do a really good job with that. They had all the emotional highs and lows that they need to.
Yes. What do you think about the use of like classical music for the soundtrack?
I really liked it. I mean, and you don't even really notice it for a lot of the movie. Right. It's more towards the end, but like it's there when it needs to be, and it makes like all the difference.
Yeah, especially like the montages of her time leaping.
Oh my god, yeah. And the montage when she's thinking about Chucky and like the evolution of their relationship.
Okay, so I had to hunt down that song, and I'm going to do all the favor. The song is called, so you can go listen to it and cry your eyes out later. I don't know how to pronounce it, but the English is Unchanging Things. And if you just literally Google like Unchanging Things, Girl Who Leapt Through Time, you're gonna find it. So you can find this, I promise. It's a great song.
I'll go I think it's
I think it's the only song with vocals in it.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
pretty sure.
probably was it the well that's the one where like she's like running for her last time travel thing. Is it also in the
Yeah.
credits or is that a different one?
That's the one where she's running. She jumps like for the last time leap into
Yeah.
the flashbacks with all the Chiaki stuff and like him showing up and then becoming friends. That whole montage.
So good.
And I think what's great about it is usually I don't notice like, oh, this song has words, but because all the other ones didn't, it kind of stood out more and it really made that moment more powerful.
You watched it in the dub, right?
I've seen the dub every time, yes. I've not seen the sub.
So when the song plays, is it in English, the song?
No, it's in Japanese.
Okay, yeah, same for me, and I watched it subbed. That's interesting.
You saw the sub?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they don't
Each
dub
time
the song.
for me,
They
yeah.
keep that. But like all the others, like classical music, and then it's like you get to like J-pop, and
Yeah, but it works so well.
Oh,
Yeah,
it fits
it works so
perfectly.
well.
It works very, very well. But yeah, the soundtrack I think is great. A lot of classical music. Some of it was actually Bach. Like re-variations of Bach music, which I thought was nice.
I did not notice, but that's nice to know in retrospect.
It's retrospect. Yeah, it's nice. It's like, Bach was here. Wonderful.
I wonder why they chose that.
I wonder why, indeed.
I'm sure they had a very good reason, honestly. I'm sure everything was
pretty.
very tastefully particular in their choices.
So, how do you want to go through this? Do you want to go by like character, by like movie?
Man.
What do you want to do? You want to like go through the film?
We can go through the film. I mean, we can go through character, whatever you want. You're running this show, Justin.
I'm about to run this train into a wall. Is what's gonna happen?
No,
Like a hot
it's
check.
not. Let's do this movie like the best service we can. It's deserving of that.
Okay, the beginning. We'll start at the beginning then.
Okay.
We get like what 10, 15 minutes of just life. It starts very slice of life.
Mm-hmm. She wakes up. She's like going through routine. She's like late.
Her sister ate her pudding.
All these things keep going wrong. She doesn't do good on the test. She messes up the home ec, like
I guess that's
fried shrimp thing.
Yeah.
And then that guy crushes her. She's like walking by.
Yes.
It's like all the stuff.
Sets up a lot of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Without you think it's like just like a slice of life montage, and it actually sets up everything.
Yeah, and like multiple levels too, which is really interesting
like
to think
every
about.
arc
Go back.
that happens
Yeah,
in the course of the movie.
a lot of side characters too.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which of the boys? Which boy do you like more, Chiaki or Kosuke?
I mean, honestly, we don't know that much about either of them. I mean, I think Kosuke is just like a really amazing supportive friend, you know? Yeah. And he's the one that like keeps like Chiaki and Makoto like balanced because they're like so goofy and like don't take things seriously. And he takes things like really seriously and he's like the super thoughtful one. Chiaki's like, you know, he's really interesting and he's from the future and that's pretty cool. And, like, you know, I won't deny he has chemistry with Makoto.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know. I feel like Makoto has, like, probably way more personality, but it's also, like, her movie, so that makes sense.
Yeah,
it's, like, the focus. Yeah. What about you, if you had to choose between them?
She's one of the boys. I'd go Kosuke.
Yeah, I actually really like Kosuke, too.
I would choose Kosuke. He's a rock.
Yeah, he is a rock.
And he could teach me how to play baseball and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So before we completely fangirl together, Makoto's going. She finds the message at the blackboard. What was it? Time waits for no one.
Time waits for no one.
Time waits for no one. She falls on a walnut. The walnut's not a walnut. It's a time travel device.
I love how they decided that just like when they made these time machines, that they were just going to make them look like nuts so no one would notice. That's like a pretty funny like decision.
But it turned out to be not so good an idea.
Oh my god.
Yeah. The puns are back.
Of course they are.
They never left. So, Makoto, she starts going home, hits the railroad crossing, brakes don't work, goes flying. What was your first reaction when seeing this?
I didn't know what was happening because she was on the cover of the movie and she was the main character, and how could she die in like the first like 12 minutes?
Yeah.
I was so shocked. Like, I did not think that was going to happen at all.
And then she was fine.
Yeah, then she was, well, yeah, but it was very strange, you know?
It was very strange.
Like, what happened there? She wasn't in the same place. By all accounts, she should have died.
Uh-huh. So, she time leaps back by accident when she goes flying. Goes to her aunt, who we've established earlier on. She is the main character of the original book, so she's gone through this already.
That explains so much, because her aunt's like way too chill about this. I was thinking the whole movie, I'm like, why does she not care that like her niece is time traveling? Like, why is she giving her all this life advice about who she should be dating and what she should do with their future? Like, this is crazy. But like, if she actually time traveled too, like that makes so much more sense. Because it's like sitting there like, who is this person? Who can like be this chill? Like, honestly.
The moral of the whole movie is actually aunts are the best ever. Like, that's some real moral of the movie. It's not about life and time. No, it's about aunts are great.
It's about that aunt in particular.
That aunt in particular.
I guess maybe that's why the reason they call her Auntie Witch too. It's because like she time traveled. I don't know. Maybe there's something magical about her.
Maybe that's her actual name. I don't know.
That's not her actual name.
It's not your name.
Oh my god.
So she can time travel. She decides, as all teenagers would.
Of course.
Let's not be late. Let's record soap operas. Let's get our pudding.
10 hours of karaoke. That's pretty impressive.
Okay, that scene is hilarious.
Yeah, I
where she's like rolling into the karaoke room every time. And we're learning so much about Japanese culture and entertainment.
In a very, very shallow, broad way, yes.
Very shallow, very broad. Well, what do Japanese high schoolers do for fun? Play meaningless games of baseball of 3 people and do karaoke, and that is all they do in their life.
I think that baseball was more particular to those 3 people, though.
True.
There wasn't like a whole bunch of people out there playing baseball. It's like literally just them most of the time.
Because the rest were all playing Yu-Gi-Oh, of course.
Oh my god.
Save me.
I don't know.
When did they finally show the tattoo? It was when she was in the bath, right? Okay.
It wasn't for a while after she'd made a lot of lists.
Yeah, it's after the Chiaki thing. Because like on one hand you have all this time travel stuff happening, and on the other hand you have this beginning arc of this girl who likes Kosuke.
That was so funny. Like how hard she was trying to change the conversation each time, and how like persistent he was trying to ask her out.
The moral of the story is if a boy likes you, he gonna like you no matter how many times you jump back in time.
Unless you avoid him like the plague and then he dates your friend for a while in one reality, you know, which did
happen.
Yeah.
So what we've learned is unless you want to hate your best friend for going out with the guy that likes you that you don't want to say you like, but you totally like, just don't jump back in time. Just say yes or no.
I mean, I feel like we could talk about Makoto's feelings because I think it's one of the situations where like they were all friends, you know, they were all, she was like comfortable with how things were.
Precisely.
It was like when it started changing and like the option was on the table. And then when her other friends started like spending more time with him, that she really considered like it being different. And like if that hadn't happened, I don't know if she ever would have considered him. So I think it's more like situational than anything. Because if he hadn't popped the question, like she might never have considered him that way, you know? So
she probably wouldn't have. If he hadn't popped the question 10 times.
Yeah. She tried to avoid it so hard.
She really tried, and she just couldn't avoid it, no matter what. So then it was after that she finally realizes she has the tattoo. She thinks it's a 90. It's not a 90.
I mean, after the first time it changed, I feel like she should have realized the truth.
Then it went from 90 to 50.
Right? Like, that seems a little weird.
Well, she didn't think that it was connected to the number of leaps.
That's true, until the very last one. And she's like, oh, there's only one left. Okay.
Yeah.
Dang. I should have used it better.
Yeah. It's like, I think there's a moral here about not wasting the gift of childhood.
What?
Yes.
What?
Don't waste childhood, Michelle. Our childhoods are both far, far behind us. We're old.
Oh my
folk
god,
now.
Justin, you're so young.
I'm not young. I am old.
You're too young to be that wistful.
I'm I'm an old, battle-hardened 19-year-old.
Oh my god.
I've seen things, Michelle. I've
seen some things, I guess.
I've seen trees of green and red roses too. Friends shaking hands, saying, "How do you do?"
Oh boy.
We're gonna get sued for me quoting a song, aren't we?
No, we won't. This isn't monetized at all.
Fair point. We make nothing. So Chiaki. Great.
Yes.
He's a great boy. So, that's around when the time, she figures out she has the number on her arm. Is that when she meets the girl that likes Kosuke?
It's around then, because that's when she says, like, I'm going to do something nice, and then she keeps screwing it up anyway.
Every time.
She's doing it way too often.
This girl loves you.
Yeah.
How do you
stop
know?
studying just because, like, I'm doing well. Like, that's nothing to do with the fact that this girl loves you. And the poor
This girl's
girl.
madly in love with you. Okay, can
Like-
we just agree how sweet her story is, though?
Yeah, no, seriously. And I love how, like, aggressive her friends are on her behalf. Like, she's, like, the quietest, shyest person, but her friends, like, care about her so much that they're willing to just, like, you know, bombard Makoto with, like, this personal, like, questions to, like, get to the bottom of it so they can help her be with this guy.
Right.
Like, it's really admirable in a friendship, honestly. It's pretty funny.
It's I love the girl that likes Kosuke. I can't remember
Yeah,
her name,
it's
but
just
I
so
love her. She's
sweet.
so sweet. And they do work out. Kaho, that's her name. Wait, yes?
Is that one Kaho?
Yes. Because
'Cause
who's the one that ends up with
Yuri
Chiaki?
Is
Yuri.
Makoto's close friend who likes Chiaki.
Yeah,
And
Kaho's the one
so
that
must
ends
be
up
Kaho.
with.
Yeah.
So, they're great. There was a lot of really weird ways that storylines tied together. Because, like, everyone started dating and everyone got hurt.
Right?
It's like
Well,
Kaho,
in some sense, yeah.
Because Kaho's ankle, when Kosuke fell on her because Makoto moved
Set
all
it
the
up.
stuff.
Yeah, so they would have a better reason to hook up than her just like, telling them to.
And then when the friend, what was her name? Yuri?
Yeah.
When she gets hit with the fire extinguisher, that was
really sad, yeah.
that whole scene was just intense.
Yeah, the like kind of like underlying side plot about like the bullying and just like the outcome of like Makoto making all these decisions at each time. That was really interesting. And they didn't really talk a lot about how like, you know, like you can't have something without like equal consequences happening to somebody else. But they touched on it like enough to make you really like realize the intense ramifications. Because people really did get hurt and people did get messed up. And that was that was a pretty strong point of the movie, I felt.
Yeah, it was definitely. It was really interesting, and I loved seeing that whole Makoto struggling with, like, yeah, she's so upset her friend's hurt, but at the same time, Chiaki's the one there comforting her, and they're, like, dating and stuff, and it's, like, that really just awkward.
It's like life as a teenager in high school in general, but with sci-fi thrown in.
Yay for science fiction. Which, I love science fiction more than fantasy, so, like, this movie is, like, that's part of why I love it so much. It's, like, all the fantasy coming-of-age stories, but sci-fi. And we really finally need one of these. It's honestly a science fiction fairy tale.
I would not agree with the fairy tale part. I feel like it's so grounded in like the slice of life realism. Yeah. That's why like the sci-fi works so well, because like if it was just sci-fi, I feel like it could have gone in a lot of weird directions, but because like at the heart of it, it's just like about her being in high school and growing up and like things happening with her friends. Like that's what makes it as solid as it is.
There's one science fiction element thrown in.
Exactly.
That's what makes it good.
Yeah. Like, it's not, like, too much. It's, like, just enough to be concrete and make sense the whole time, which is hard to do sometimes when you have really fantastical movie ideas.
Yeah. So, from the moment Makoto gets the text from Kosuke, for, like, the next 10 minutes, my heart just didn't beat at all.
Really?
It just, the whole thing. Just so intense.
What was it about it that, like, hit you so hard, do you think?
I think just the fact it's like, oh no, we're back. It's like everything falling back into place, but in a different way. Mm-hmm. And the fact that we'd already seen consequences happen, you're like, no. And see, I'm used to movies where if there's like 3 main characters, somebody's gonna die.
What?
Like, I'm used to if there's that many main characters, by the end, someone's gonna die.
3's not a lot. I mean...
Okay. You forget, I'm the generation raised on Fault in Our Stars.
Ew, I'm sorry.
I haven't seen it, mind you, but I'm the generation of somebody gotta die.
It's weird to think that people were, like, in quotes, raised on that book. Okay.
Well, not that book, but like, I was still growing up, like, I was in high school when that book came out.
That was only 2 people, and one of them still died. Well, I mean, yeah.
Still, I'm in this modern era of postmodern where people die a lot.
Modern era postmodern. Okay, sure.
You don't understand my generation.
I don't actually.
Michelle.
All right, I'll believe it, I guess.
So I thought Kosuke was gonna die.
Oh my god. Well, that part when like she thinks she's okay and she's thinking she's patching things up with Chiaki and they're gonna like talk and then you just see them go down.
Yeah, and you're like,
so much on the back. You're just like, no, she used her last one and they're still gonna die. That's awful. And then she's running and she falls and she gets so banged up and it's just like, awful.
And then time stops.
Yeah,
And I'm like, oh, if this is some, well, you believed hard enough and magic gave you one more. And I was like, oh, please don't do that. And then it just all fit together with Chiaki and using his last one, and just all of it just works so beautifully.
I have like so many questions about how like time travel works for people in the future, though. Same. Like, I feel like so much could go wrong. And like, side question, when he was first saying like because he told her about time travel, he like was gonna like, could he just like not exist anymore? Like,
he had to leave. He had to vanish.
But like, what does that mean? Does he just go back to the future, or does he just like not exist anywhere? I think
it's just he exists. He just has to like go underground, like hide.
But where did he go? Because he literally disappeared.
He's magic. I don't know how.
That's one of the big questions I always had about it.
It's a metaphor, Michelle.
Why was the painting so important? I still don't know
it's
why.
It's important because it's important to him.
But like,
that's
why?
Literally the only reason it's important is he read about this painting and he wanted to see it.
Yeah, that's so random. It's like a weird school assignment. Like, okay, so where do you want to go?
Passion of a high school
boy. You're time traveling now. Oh, well, there's this cool painting, that's in this one like era, so I'm gonna go to that. Like, that's like seems what it was. It was like a school assignment. And he was like, oh, well, I want to go see this painting.
And I just kind of got stuck in the past forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, I mean, how far back can you go? Because if he's from a future or, like...
It's basically, like, apocalypse-y.
And we saw Chiaki go back, like, 2 days. Or we saw Makoto go back, like, 2 days.
Yeah, that's it.
In theory, she could have gone back to, like, before she met Chiaki. But she never wanted to.
She was very short-sighted. Like, that's one of the things he was saying when, like, they were having that long monologue when, like, time was frozen. He's like, I was really scared for a while, like, somebody would find it and do these horrible things. Thank
goodness it was an idiot.
God, like, an idiot found it and, like, did it to, like, have pudding and, like, set our friends up and be a matchmaker. Like, that was lucky.
Yeah.
Like, fair enough, though, really. Like, she was pretty harmless in her use of time travel.
The scene where time is frozen and Chiaki's just explaining what happened, because I'm still sitting here like wiping tears away.
And she's like trying to find him in the crowd and he's being all elusive, which is like infuriating, but like you kind of understand why. It's really good. And then he like just disappears and you're like, no! She finally understands, you idiot!
And you leave.
Yeah.
And then you've got the last act, which is like, what, 20 minutes of just Makoto being sad.
I was like checking the time on it. I'm like, it can't be this short. And then I like realized how much was left. I was like, oh wow, like I had no idea.
I forget there's like 20 minutes of just Makoto just crying her eyes out.
It's all good though.
And
like
then finally she figures it out that she can go back.
Mm-hmm.
That was because I was like,
it was like
the moments
so
I was waiting.
I realized I did not think it was going to happen, and then it did. I was like, yeah, I don't care how much of this makes sense or not. Like, it actually did make sense. It was just like,
I made a good job of it.
I want to see her be with him, even for like 5 seconds.
The second time I saw this movie, it was with 2 of my friends. One of them had already seen it. One had not.
Oh, nice. How was it for them?
Oh, the one who hadn't seen it loved it, and she it was my second time watching it, and both of us are still sitting there at the end, and we're like, kiss her.
I was so mad. Like, he comes back, she's already sobbing her eyes out, and then he just like hugs her. He's like, and then, okay, this is what I don't get, Justin. When he says, like, I'll see you in the future, she'll be so old or dead. Like, there's no way that can work.
Question. Right? Why can't the boy grab another walnut and just come back?
Why can't he grab another walnut?
I think it's a metaphor for high school love and how fleeting it is.
Oh, I guess.
It's all subtext, Michelle.
I don't care. I mean, they clicked. Simple as that. Why don't they just have a life together?
They should.
People have built lives on less than time travel shenanigans, so I feel like it's warranted. You're right, though. I guess like the point was just that it was like, young, fleeting love and how it helps us like learn more about ourselves and grow and change. But like still, everyone kind of wants them to get together. And he didn't even kiss her goodbye. That was unforgivable for me.
And then finally we've got Kaho and Kosuke and Makoto, all friends. And
that's really cute.
It's adorable.
And Kaho's like learning baseball. She's like really bad, but it doesn't matter.
She's awful.
She's bonding with her bae.
I think Kosuke's all of our bae.
Really, like seriously, he's the total package.
Hashtag Kosuke is bae.
Yes.
Hashtag Kosbae.
Cosplay.
I want that. That's
Kosubae.
Kosubae. Kosbae. Trend it, Twitter, Tumblr people, whatever you are, trend it. So that's the end of the film.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things we want to talk about, this movie is directed, I'm gonna butcher his name. Mamoru Hosoda, something like that. This is the guy who directed Summer Wars, the first two Digimon movies, one of the One Piece movies, but definitely, most importantly, Summer Wars, Wolf Children, and Boy and the Beast. This was his first, like, big breakout movie.
I honestly think it's his best one.
Is it better than Wolf Children?
Yes, it is better. I think the emotional payoff is better than Wolf Children. Although Wolf Children's really good, but I don't know. For me, I feel like this one's just like a little bit more complete and more satisfying than Wolf Children.
Is it better than Digimon the movie?
Do you really have to ask that? Yes, it is, Justin.
But those digital monsters.
What about them?
There were so many of them?
The quantity does not equal quality, you know.
Does it?
No.
I mean,
no.
If that's the case, Pokemon's better than Digimon because there's more Pokemon than there are Digimon. There's like 700 something Pokemon.
Oh my god.
But the reason I brought up the director, he was actually he was the original director for Howl's Moving Castle.
What happened?
That's actually a great question, and I don't.
Oh, you know what I bet happened? Because I know when Miyazaki was directing Princess Mononoke, he's like, okay, guys, like, I know you hate this schedule, and this is like awful and hard, but like, this is my last movie. Like, let's just push through. And he said that, and then like a couple years later, he's like, you know what? I don't think I'm done yet. And then that's right away, he's like, okay, guys, this is like my last movie. Like, I know you've been working really hard, and the deadline's crazy, but like, this is my last one. Let's just like push through. And he said like the exact same thing about Howl's Moving Castle also. So maybe they like literally thought Spirited Away was his last movie, and he's like, JK, like, I'm not done yet either.
Actually, what happened?
happened?
Studio Ghibli went to him and they're like, hey, we want you to direct this movie called Howl's Moving Castle. And he's like, okay. But he left during early production stages because he couldn't come up with a concept acceptable to the bosses.
Huh.
So he couldn't come up with something they would like. And that's when they brought in Miyazaki.
I wonder what he pitched. I feel like that would have been a very interesting movie.
Yeah.
I might have enjoyed more, honestly.
I would have really enjoyed I at least want to see him be like, this is what I was going to do. It's never going to happen, but in case you're curious, I did something. Like, this is what I wanted to make.
Okay, what is...
He hasn't said it, but I would love him to do that. So... You kind of spoiled my next question, which was, would you have wanted to see him direct Howl's Moving Castle? And
absolutely.
What do you think would be different about it, based on this as his next film that he made?
I think, so I saw Miyazaki's Howl before I read the book. And going in cold, I really liked it. After I read the book, I realized how different it was tonally and how much more it was like throwing in this love stuff between Sophie and Howl was like this big thing, which it really, really wasn't in the book. And how a lot of the plot stuff was either completely different or like very minimized, which makes sense because the woman who wrote Howl's Moving Castle, Diana Wynne Jones, she's kind of known for like really intense world building in her books. Like, her books are not short. They're huge and fat and like full of meat, but they're very complicated.
Right.
And that's hard for like an hour and a half long film. But it's just, the movie we got is so different from the book in so many ways. It would be interesting to think maybe that Hosoda would have been more truthful to it.
Right.
But it's not like your typical like, you know, plot structure either.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's part of the reason, like, the executives, like, weren't into whatever he pitched them. But I think that would have been way interesting to see. I would have loved to see that.
Yeah, I forget it's a book adaptation, so it had to at least be somewhat based on the book.
Yeah.
So I'm curious as to now, like, what he did. Like, watch him have basically pitched The Hobbit. Like, this long 3-part film based on one book.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, that would have been more interesting than the actual Hobbit trilogy. But, and then the follow-up question, what if Miyazaki had directed The Girl Who Leapt Through Time?
I'm right. I think it still would have been good, but I think the emphasis on certain points might have been very different. Like, I don't know if we would have gotten such like an uncomfortable look at like for example, like the kid who ended up like being bullied a lot as a consequence to Makoto's decisions, or just like how like surreally like other people were hurt like physically by her choices. Because I don't think like outside of like Princess Mononoke, we don't really see anything that physically upsetting happen to anybody in those movies. Maybe Nausicaa like a little, but so I think that would have been like a pretty big difference. And just like, I don't know, like I don't think we would have had those long like ugly crying scenes that I love so much with Makoto.
You do love your ugly crying scenes.
It would have been more pretty crying with giant tears if it was. So
and more swelling music and the slow tear and giant friend to help comfort her.
Yeah. I'm glad we got what we got, honestly. I feel like this is probably the best versions of this story probably we could have expected.
Yes. I think what I really do enjoy is that it's I've said a lot, it's a very different movie. And I think it's one of those movies where it rides this weird line between a lot of different genres, because it's like a coming-of-age story, it's like a slice of life, it's like a sci-fi, but it wouldn't fit with, like, a Ghibli movie or, like, any other slice of life, or with, like, Ghost in the Shell. It's its own little genre. And I feel like a lot of the director's movies are like that. Like, where would you place Wolf Children?
That's a good point. I mean, I feel like Summer Wars I haven't seen the most recent one, but like Summer Wars is the most like kind of very much its own thing kind of movie out of those. And I feel like for me, The Girl Who Left Through Time isn't like this very special movie. I think it's just like an idea that was handled really, really exceptionally well, but it's like relatable and like not like uncommon an idea in general. It's just like a very, very particularly good example of it more than anything else. And that's why I like it so much.
Yeah, it's good.
Because I think something like, say maybe like Perfect Blue is like very much like, you don't see a lot of movies like that. And it's very like intense and interesting and like specific. And I don't think like, not to say that it's like better, I don't think it is. It's just very different. And I think there are a lot of elements to The Girl Who Left Through Time that are very recognizable in a lot of other movies, but it's just like a very good example of a well done case of this kind of movie, like more than most. And that's what I like so much about it.
All right. So last question. What would you rate this movie out of 10? Like, what would you give it?
Oh, man.
I need your objective rating scale of all content ever in media history. Where does this
like
rank?
Not me at all.
In the Smithsonian.
9.6.
9.6 is very high.
Yeah, it is. That's my score. What about you?
See, it's weird.
It's weird.
I did place it on my... I put it only at 7 on my top 10 animated movies list, but that was personal favorites.
Exactly. Quality's different than personal fave.
I know this movie is better than... What did I put at 6? Actually, is this movie better than WALL-E? It's a great question. I don't.
Yes, this movie's better than WALL-E.
I don't.
Absolutely.
This movie's definitely better than the Aristocats. I will.
Yes, it's better than the Aristocats. Oh my God.
Is it better than the Lion King, though?
I forgot your list was like so. Yeah.
Eccentric.
No, I mean it's like totally you, but it's like you put the Aristocats. Yeah. Anyway.
Is it better than Lion King? See, now we're hitting the road bumps. But
Lion King's just like really iconic.
Yeah, Lion King's also pretty good though. I would definitely at least give it a 9. I don't know about decimals, but I know I'd put it at least a 9.
Fair enough. Yeah, it's a solid score.
Yeah, it is. It is my favorite anime film ever. I will give it that.
Man, you really should watch.
I need to watch more. That's something.
Nothing against this, but you really should watch more.
I really should. I've basically seen this. I have seen all of the Pokemon movies.
Oh my God. That's like...
If you ever insult Pokemon, the first movie, in my presence again, Michelle.
That movie was so bad. It was.
No, it's not. It's beautiful.
No, I mean, you can love it. It can have a lot of nostalgic, importance to you, but like
For my honors program, when we got for our first year here, we had to have a quote that was put in like the bulletin.
You didn't.
And so my quote was, "I see now that the gift of I see now that the circumstances of one's birth are irrelevant. Is what you do with the gift of life that determines who you are." And they actually had to print this in the booklet and then quote Mewtwo, Pokemon the first movie.
Oh my god! Like, okay, if I read that and didn't know who you were, like, I don't know what I would think of you though. Like, honestly, actually, I'd probably be like, this man has no shame. That's kind of impressive. But other than that, I don't know what I would say.
I was proud of myself. But yes, I've only basically seen this, all the Pokemon movies, Ghost in the Shell, and Spirited Away. So very, very small repertoire of anime films.
Watch Castle in the Sky at least, please. Like,
I will.
Like it.
I've seen like half of Howl's.
It's better than Howl.
Okay.
Absolutely better than Howl.
But don't I need to watch the best Ghibli movie ever, which is Ponyo?
Ew, why did you just call it Ponyo? God!
Not Ponyo?
I mean, I've had conversations with friends about how bad that dub is.
It stars Miley
really
Cyrus's little sister and the fourth Jonas.
I know, it's so bad. We should have but Dylan won't let us do a Ghibli podcast yet. But if we do,
anyone has signed up and said, Dylan, I want to be on
Seriously, the bad dub of Ponyo is so worth the podcast.
See, I've said, Dylan, can we do Howl's Moving Castle? He's like, no, there's a list for that. Spirited Away? No, there's a list for that.
Oh, I bet there's no list for that one, huh?
There's no Ponyo list. No one is waiting to podcast about Ponyo.
We should take it seriously.
Live, I will ask right now.
That'd be so great. Man. They'll have to watch it in the dub again. That was already torturous enough in the theaters.
That might have to be one of the drunk podcasts. But if it's just us and I don't drink, it's me babysitting drunk you ranting about a
Justin,
movie.
You know what you can do? You can just like not go to sleep for a whole day and you'll be just as drunk as me. Like,
sober
to be
drunk.
fair, yeah. Sleepy drunk is sometimes very similar to real drunk.
Can I just like down a Red Bull and immediately podcast?
Then you just be really hyper, so I'd be like slow.
And I'd be sitting here, Ponyo, 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 and you're like, Justin. We'd have to put that would be the one where we have like a language warning is the one for Ponyo because we're both just screaming about how awful it is.
That would be so great. Let's do it for real.
All right, so as I wait to hear back from Dylan about whether or not there is a sign-up sheet for Ponyo, thank you guys so much. Not our longest podcast by a mile, but we're already very tired today. We already did an hour and a half podcast.
Yeah, before.
I think we did good. I think this was fun.
This was really fun. This movie, seriously, guys, if you haven't seen it, please watch this movie.
We did not do this justice. Watch this movie.
Watch it somewhere quiet where you won't be interrupted so you can just sit there.
Bring tissues and ice cream. You're going to need it.
Really?
Dylan has responded. Not that I know of. You can definitely do Ponyo. I don't have much to say on it.
Yes! Yay! Okay.
I'll ask in chat if anyone super needs to be on that one. This is the first time he's approved me doing a Ghibli movie because there was not a waiting list for it.
Yeah, that's so great.
That just made this whole podcast better. It's the live reaction. All right, so thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, leave us iTunes reviews if you like us. We love iTunes reviews. They really help us out. We want to be the #1 animation podcast. We want to cover everything we can. We want to do all kinds of cool stuff. And you guys leaving iTunes reviews helps us get higher in rankings. Helps us be more visible, helps other cool people find our cool stuff, and you like cool people, we like doing cool stuff, so it works out for everybody, and it's free to do. But if you do want to support us financially, you can do that at Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/overlyanimated, become a patron, you get your name read on every podcast, your patron nickname read on every podcast, all kinds of cool bonuses. We got a Facebook group, we got live streams every month, all kinds of cool stuff. So thanks once again to our current patrons, Mitch, Cordell, Beatrice, Nate, Andy, Jamie, Rachel, John, Ryan, Catherine, Taylor, Devon, Jade, John, Phoenician, Victoria, and Katrin, a.k.a. Fever Mitch, Cordell University, Beatrix Lestrange, Nathan Fillion, Buzz Lightyear, Mailman, Rachel Rose, Johnny Bravo, Brian, Cookie Cat Needle, Diamond Day, Jewel, Garfield, Fusion, Skylark, and Patron Katrin. Nailed it.
Good job.
This is going up probably sometime midweekish, I've been informed.
Okay. Suspense.
Releasing around this podcast will probably be Star, Steven Universe Roundtable, and a Ladybug Roundtable, maybe. I don't know. Powerpuff Girls somewhere in there. We did a Total Drama podcast. That might be up. I don't know. There will be podcasts.
There will be podcasts
around this time. We do a lot of podcasts, so you can listen to all of those. Do you have anything you want to plug, Michelle?
Nope.
No, that's
I'm
all you
good.
got.
That's all I got.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening, guys. We hope to see you again soon for another movie podcast at some point. Leave us a comment below. If you want me to do a movie podcast, if you want Michelle to do a movie podcast, there's
Not
a waiting
Simon,
list
not
for
fun.
Ghibli and Pixar.
Okay.
So if you want us to do movies, preferably non-Pixar, non-Ghibli, anything else is fair game at this point.
Anything weird?
Anything?
talk
Well,
about?
not weird.
Yeah.
DreamWorks is open. Disney's open. Other Madhouse movies. If you want us to do Summer Wars or Wolf Children, those are open to the best of my knowledge.
People have interest for that, so we can definitely do that.
If it's not Ghibli, no one cares. So I've basically been told no Howl, no Toy Story.
I'm fine with that, honestly.
So let us know what kind of offbeat movies you want us offbeat people to cover, because the OVA originals, we are the best.
Oh my god.
Never dropping that ever.
It becomes a thing, I swear.
It is a thing. Make it a thing. Hashtag OVA originals. All right. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.